your cat grooms all night. That soft, relentless rasp of a tongue going over the same patch of belly over and over at 3 in the morning until there is a bald little strip where the fur used to be, the scratching behind the ears. The sudden twitch and bolt across the room like something bit them, little scabs along the back you can feel before you can see. You have tried the shampoos, the sprays, maybe a fortune in bottles, and the itch always comes back. What if I told you that 1 teaspoon of a single, cheap thing, stirred into the food they already eat, can genuinely calm that itch from the inside out? And then, because I promised you the truth and this audience holds me to it, I am going to be completely, uncomfortably honest with you about the tick part of that title, because the internet is lying to you about it, and one popular remedy can quietly kill your cat. I would much rather you hear the real story from a vet. Let me guess what you are thinking. You have spent real money on this already, and you are tired of being sold. As a veterinarian, here is my promise. I will tell you exactly what 1 teaspoon can do and exactly what it cannot, and I will not oversell you a single word. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Chen, your neighborhood vet. And if your cat has been itchy for months and you feel like you are failing them, drop the guilt at the door. Cats hide their misery until it is written on their skin. So if you are only seeing it now, you are not late, you are paying attention. Grab a notebook, hit subscribe to join our pet parent community, and stay to the end, because the honest tick truth is the most important, most life-saving thing I will say today. But first, the one thing most cat parents get wrong about itching. Quick note before we start. I'm a veterinarian sharing general information, but I'm not your cat's vet, and this is not a diagnosis. Every animal is different, and because today absolutely involves something your cat will eat and something you might put on their skin, this one matters. Introduce it slowly, start with a smaller amount, watch for any reaction like loose stool, and check with your own vet first if your cat is on any medication, is pregnant, very young, very old, or has a health condition, especially a history of pancreatitis. And please hear this one twice. Never put a dog's flea or tick product on a cat. I will explain why in a few minutes, and it may be the reason you needed to watch this. If your cat is grooming themselves bald, has open sores or scabs, or seems miserable, that is a vet visit. Okay, with that said, here is what most cat parents get wrong. They chase the itch on the outside, the shampoo, the spray, the wipe, when a huge amount of everyday itch is being driven from the inside by inflammation and by a weak, leaky skin barrier. Picture your cat's skin as a brick wall, and the mortar between the bricks as the fats that hold it watertight and calm. When that mortar is thin, moisture leaks out, irritants and allergens leak in, and the skin sits in a low, constant state of inflammation, itchy, flaky, quick to flare, and a cat's answer to an itch is not to scratch it once and move on. A cat grooms. That barbed little tongue goes back to the same spot 100 times a day, and the grooming itself wears the fur away and irritates the skin even more. You can wash the surface all day, but if the wall itself is weak, the itch keeps coming back and the tongue keeps making it worse. So the real move is to feed the wall. And that brings me to the 1 teaspoon. But first, a quick word on why that wall gets weak in the first place. Some of it is just genetics, some cats are simply born itchy, some of it is age, and a lot of it is diet, and here's where cats are different from dogs, so pay attention. A cat is what we call an obligate carnivore. That is not a slogan, it is biology. A cat's body is built to run on animal fat and animal protein. It cannot thrive on a cheap, grain, heavy, low-fat food the way some other animals can limp along on one. Feed a cat a dry, bargain kibble, and one of the first places it shows is the coat dull, flaky, itchy, thinning. So while we build the wall from the inside with the teaspoon, look hard at what is actually in the bowl and understand that with a cat, good food is not a luxury, it is the foundation the skin is built on. The 1 teaspoon is omega, 3 fatty acids, specifically a good marine fish oil, the kind rich in EPA and DHA. Write that down. Omega-3, marine fish oil. Not the flax kind, not a vague plant blend the fish oil from cold water fish. And here is the happy part. Cats, unlike a lot of picky eaters, tend to love the smell of fish, so this is one supplement that usually goes down without a fight. Here's what it actually does in plain English. Those omega 3s get built right into the skin, where they thicken that mortar between the bricks and directly turn down the body's inflammation signals, the same signals that make a nerve ending scream itch and send that tongue back to the same bald patch. This is not folklore. It is one of the better studied nutritional supports for feline skin there is, and vets recommend it constantly. Now, the honest part, because I promised, it is support, not a cure. It will not fix a raging allergy on its own, and it is not fast. It takes a solid 4 to 8 weeks of daily use before you see the coat get glossier and the grooming ease. But it is cheap, it is safe for most cats, and it is good for the whole animal, the joints, the heart, the kidneys, the aging brain, not just the skin, 1 teaspoon in the food every day, and you are rebuilding the wall from the inside. Let me give you the amounts carefully, because cats are small, and with oils, more is never better. A cat is a fraction of the size of a dog, so the dose is small for a typical 8 to 12 pound cat. We are talking about a modest amount, often something in the range of a quarter of a teaspoon a day, not a big splash. But, and this matters, the real number depends entirely on how concentrated your particular bottle is. So read the EPA and DHA content on the label, start at the low end, and please run the exact dose past your vet. Why so careful? Because too much fish oil can loosen the stool, and at high doses, it can actually thin the blood and interfere with clotting, which matters a great deal if your cat ever needs surgery. It is also extra calories, and an overweight cat does not need a splash of oil on top of everything else. Start low, go slow, a little every day beats a lot all at once. And keep the bottle in the fridge, because fish oil goes rancid, and rancid oil does the opposite of what you want. If your cat turns their nose up at the oil, and some cats are contrary, just to keep us humble, plain sardines are a wonderful whole food alternative. Sardines packed in water, not oil, not tomato sauce, no added salt. A small amount, a couple of times a week, as a topper on their regular food, delivers those same omegas in a form most cats would knock you over for. It is not a full meal, and it is not a replacement for a balanced diet. It is a little omega-rich treat that happens to be good for the skin. Same idea, from the fish counter instead of a bottle. While that teaspoon does its slow work on the inside, here is a gentle helper for the outside, but I have to be honest about it, because you know your cat. It is a plain oatmeal soak. Grind a cup of plain, unflavored oats to a fine powder and stir it into warm water. On a dog, you pour it over the whole animal in the tub. On a cat, let's be realistic. Most cats would rather fight a bear than sit in a bath, and forcing a stressed, itchy cat into water usually does more harm than the soak does good. So do it the cat way. Soak a soft cloth in the oatmeal water and gently hold it against just the worst, angriest patch of skin for a minute or two, calmly, with treats, and stop the second they have had enough. It takes the edge off an irritated spot for a day or so. It is not a cure, and it does not fix the cause, but paired with the wall-building teaspoon on the inside, a warm oatmeal cloth on one raw patch can be the small mercy that lets a miserable cat settle. Now, before we get to the ticks, there is one thing I have to tell you. Because with a cat, it is the number one cause of itching in the whole world, and almost nobody believes it applies to them. It is fleas. And I can already hear you, Dr. May. My cat is indoors. My cat never goes out. My cat cannot have fleas. Please stay with me. It only takes one flea. There is a condition called flea allergy dermatitis, and for a sensitive cat, a single flea bite one sets off a full-body allergic reaction that lasts long after the flea is gone. You often will not even find the flea. What you will find is exactly what you are describing. Little scabby bumps along the back and neck we call miliary dermatitis, a bald patch on the belly, and the backs of the legs from all that frantic grooming, and a cat who twitches and bolts and cannot get comfortable. And how does an indoor cat meet a flea? On your ankles, from the yard, on the dog, through the screen door, in the bag of a visitor. So before you spend a season fighting a mystery itch, understand that fleas are the first thing a vet rules out, because for a huge number of itchy cats, that is the entire answer. Now, take a breath, because this is the part of the video that matters most, and it is the part nobody else will tell you straight. The ticks. The title of this video promises to repel ticks, because that is the promise this whole corner of the internet makes, and I am not going to pretend otherwise. So here is the honest truth, vet to cat parent. There is no teaspoon of anything, not fish oil, not vinegar, not brewer's yeast, not coconut oil, not garlic that reliably repels ticks or fleas for good. I wish there were. There is not. And now I have to give you the warning that is the entire reason a cat person needs their own version of this video, because a cat is not a small dog, and what is safe for a dog can be deadly for a cat. Listen closely. Never, never put a dog's flea or tick product on a cat. So many of the dog spot-on treatments, the ones you squeeze onto the back of the neck, contain a chemical called permethrin, or one of its cousins in the pyrethroid family. On a dog, it is fine. On a cat, it is a poison. A cat's liver is missing the tool it needs to break that chemical down, so it builds up and it attacks the nervous system. We see it in emergency rooms, and it is heartbreaking, violent muscle tremors, twitching, drooling, seizures, and far too often, death. It can happen from the wrong product applied on purpose by a loving owner who did not know, and it can happen just from a cat grooming a dog they live with right after that dog was treated. If this is the only thing you take from today, let it be this. A flea product that says, for dogs, is not a smaller dose for your cat. It is a completely different, dangerous chemistry. Only ever use a product labeled specifically and clearly for cats. I will say that on camera every single time because it saves lives. And I need to keep going because the danger does not stop at dog products. You will see garlic pushed online as a natural flea and tick repellent. Do not do it. Garlic and onions and the whole onion family are toxic to cats, even more so than to dogs. They destroy a cat's red blood cells and cause a dangerous, sometimes fatal anemia, and it takes shockingly little. I will refuse that one on camera every single time. Then there are the natural essential oil, tick sprays, cedar, tea tree, pennyroyal, eucalyptus. For a cat, these are not a gentle alternative. They are another version of the same liver problem. A cat cannot process these oils, and they can be dangerous not only on the skin but from the air and the residue, a diffuser running in the room, a treated surface they walk across and then groom off their paws. Tea tree oil in particular has poisoned many cats. Brewer's yeast, apple cider vinegar in the water, weak to useless, and some cats simply stop drinking their water, which for a cat is its own emergency. I am telling you all of this because you deserve the truth more than you deserve a comfortable, dangerous lie. So what actually protects your cat? Real things, and they are not expensive. First and most effective, a proper flea and tick preventative from your vet that is made specifically for cats, the modern spot-on or oral kind, dosed to your cat's weight. That is the one place I will always send you to the clinic, because it is both the thing that works and the thing that keeps you far away from the dog product disaster. Second, the hands-on check, which costs nothing. If your cat has any access to the outdoors or lives with a dog that does, run your hands slowly through their fur every day like a long, slow petting session, feeling for any little bump the ears, the chin and neck, under the collar, the armpits, between the toes. Cats groom off many ticks themselves, but not all, and not the ones in the spots they cannot reach. Third, a fine-pointed tick removal tool or fine tweezers, so that when you do find one, you can get it off the right way. Let me tell you the right way, because most people do it wrong. Do not grab the fat body and yank, and please do not do the old tricks, the burnt match, the smear of Vaseline, the drop of dish soap. Those just make the tick vomit its stomach contents back into your cat, which is exactly how disease gets passed. Instead, get the tweezers or the tool right down against the skin, grip the tick where it enters, and pull straight up, slow and steady until it lets go. Then wash the spot. And fourth, for the indoor-only cat whose real enemy is the flea, treat the environment. Vacuum, wash the bedding on hot, and if you have found fleas, treat the home, not just the cat, because most of a flea problem is living in your carpet, not on your animal. That is the real system. It is boring, it is honest, and it works, which is exactly why nobody is making it into a miracle teaspoon video. Let me tell you where I made my peace with this honesty. Down the road from where I trained, there was an old woman named Miss Adeline who kept a colony of barn cats, mousers, the whole clan of them, generation after generation, working the grain sheds. And people were forever telling her about this feed or that supplement that would keep the fleas and ticks off her cats. She'd just smile. She fed those cats well, real meat and a little fish, so their coats gleamed and their skin was strong, but she never once trusted a bowl to do a medicine's job, and she would have thrown a fit if anyone brought a dog's flea potion near one of her cats. Every evening, without fail, she sat on the step and ran her hands over each cat that came in, ears to tail, and dealt with whatever she found. She treated those barn cats like family. She taught me that the loving thing and the honest thing are usually the same thing, even when it is not the thing people want to hear. So let me be honest one more time, because I owe you two of these, and this is the second. If your cat is grooming themselves bald, if there are scabs, open sores, raw skin, a smell, or a belly worn down to pink, if they are so itchy they cannot rest, that is not a teaspoon problem. That is a cat whose allergies, fleas, or infection need a real diagnosis and, quite possibly, one of the safe, modern feline anti-itch options that can give a suffering cat their comfort back within days. There is no shame in that, and there is no medal for making your cat tough it out on fish oil alone. The teaspoon is for the mild, dry, low-grade, whole-body itch and for building the skin over the long haul. It is a foundation, not a rescue. Let's recap what is actually true, because that is the whole gift of this video. 1 teaspoon, really more like a quarter teaspoon, for a cat of a quality marine fish oil in the food every day. Dose to your cat's weight, and your vet's okay. Thickens the skin barrier and calms inflammation from the inside, real support for the itch over 4 to 8 weeks. Sardines in water if they want to change. Keep it in the fridge. Fleas are the #1 cause of cat itch, even indoors, so rule them out first. And the ticks? No teaspoon repels them for good. The real protection is a cat-specific vet preventative, a daily hands-on check, a proper removal tool, and treating the home. And above everything, never a dog's flea product on a cat. Never garlic, never essential oils. Feed the skin, guard the honest way. Take a picture of this screen so you have all of it. Next time, I'm going to show you the cheap things you can add to that same bowl to actually add years to your cat's life, the real longevity secrets, backed by a study most cat parents have never heard of. Remember, you don't have to be the perfect pet parent, you just have to care enough to want the truth. And you clearly do. Give your best friend a scratch under the chin for me and run your hands down their back while you're at it. Checking for hitchhikers, because the best medicine was never the most expensive. It's the love you already give them every single day. I'm Dr. Chen. I'll see you next time.